Good evening, buenas noches. It's such a pleasure to be here with all of you, celebrating Molly, your work, and Women's Press. So Mickey and I meet with some frequency, and we talk about the work that we need to do together to advance you, to advance other women. I love these conversations, and many times, most times, I leave very, very inspired. But many times, I do leave overwhelmed. I think, darn, why is that it takes so hard to do this work to advance women? And I am really thinking about it today. So I got a call from Mickey recently, and she said, you know, you really like to work in solidarity. You work with a lot of groups and a lot of women and have done that for so many years. Why don't you write about it? I wrote a piece, and I was going to talk about it tonight. But after I wrote that piece, I really started thinking about that word, solidarity. And after I read the definition of solidarity, and I'm going to read these definitions because they are, I think, very good. The simple definitions of solidarity refer to the ties that bind people together. What we owe one another. Seeing other people's fates as intertwined with our own fate. Being committed to defending the interest of those whose problems you do not necessarily share. I really like these definitions of solidarity. And I thought about, I really wish for solidarity right now. I really wish for solidarity in this country. Well, let me tell you this. Solidarity is often reactionary. Think about this. We don't think about working with others until we have a problem. We don't think about, I need to call my neighbor, until we have a problem. And when we have a big problem, we really think about people. There are many people in this country today that are working together to build power, to work against women, against immigrants, against the poor, against many of us. They are working in solidarity with one another to fund, empower, and elect leaders who profess their values. And they are making sure that they will elect people and put people in power who will defend those values. So solidarity is not always positive and is not necessarily unity. So tonight I want to ask you, what is your stance on our collective responsibility to protect and advance women? I ask this because I believe that we, women, are facing a great challenge right now. We're not just trying to figure out how to protect our jobs and our pensions, which is really hard, and I know you are, but we are fighting to protect our most fundamental values. We're fighting to protect our rights to make decisions about our own bodies, including our reproductive choices, and the right to be free from all forms of violence, the right to access affordable, advanced education, and to participate fully in the workforce, receiving equal pay and opportunities for advancement, our right for full political participation, our right to vote and run for office. That is what we're fighting for today. Still. So, if middle-class, educated women think that these are not your problems, you should think again, because your daughters may not be afforded the education that you received. And when non-immigrant women decide that the attacks against immigrant women are not their problem, they better think again, because you are compromising your own freedom. The domination of women begins targeting the most vulnerable and extends to encompass those in positions of power. It always has. That is the systemic work of patriarchy, where women's subordination is not limited to the most marginalized, but it affects all women. My last ask is to please think about our ancestors. Think about the women before us. Think about the work of Molly. Think about the work of Mickey. Think about all of them, and then think about your daughters. If you want those rights that were afforded to us by those women who fought so hard, our duty is to work together. Our duty is to work in solidarity, to defend and protect the rights of all of us, not just a few women, not just the women that you know. It's all of us. And my last ask is that you please, tonight, make a commitment to support the women's press. This newspaper and the people that work in it supported me from the very beginning, when very, very few people believed that a Latina could actually become a senator. And 20 years ago, they said, we want to tell your story, because it is worth telling. That story is a story that everybody needs to know. And I think that that story is going to help you get elected. And they were correct. I became the first Latina elected to the Minnesota Senate in 2006. They were the only paper who wanted to write my story, because nobody believed that a person with my background and my story could actually become a Minnesota senator. So today, I am going to ask you and put you in the spot, and would like to know if you would like to become a sustainer donor of the women's press with me. I am going to become a sustainer donor tonight. I have contributed in the past, but I'm going to do it every month. I don't have a salary that is good enough for me to give more than $50 a month, but I'm going to do it. And I would like to ask if you could do the same. If you could do more, I would like to invite you to contribute more. Could you do that? Could you do that? If you cannot do $50, you can do less. Can you do that? Yes. I thank you from the bottom of my heart, because I want the stories of other women to be told. I want other women to have the opportunity that I had of meeting the women's press staff and making sure that these women receive the welcoming and the support that I receive from you every time you invite me to tell these stories and to tell people about my work. Our work is powerful, and we need to make sure that all of us talk about it. Advancing women is not easy, and I want to invite you to work with me to support the powerful work of women's press and to make sure that they will be here for generations to come. Thank you so much.